Hi, this is Stacia, and I'm going to show a tournament game that I played in the Tuesday Tussle. I just got finished with it actually, and I just realized my background's all screwed up. Hang on a second. Let's move this over, shall we? How about this? Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, we'll live with this, I think. All right, so anyway, tonight I'm sitting on, let's see, it's round 4 of the tournament. I played 3 games so far, and there's 5 rounds total, and I'm sitting at +2, or just 2, rather. So definitely looking to take a win if I can, but I'm also, I'm actually the lowest rated player in my section. I'm the only one sitting in the 1600s with a bunch of 1700s. So that is nice for me, so I do appreciate that at least. Okay, so let's have a look at the game. I played Jeffrey Davis. He's rated 1700 something. And this is my 3rd game against him, and I've had white all 3 times. It's funny how this happens quite frequently. At least to me, where I get the same color against the same person. But okay, I had a feeling it would be a Smith-Morra Gambit because that is what we've had the other 2 times. I don't remember game 1 anymore, but I did review game 2 as part of my preparation for this game. Okay, and I'm just running through these moves because we had these before actually. So bishop c4, and this is actually a new move. In game 2, he actually played knight to f6, and here I could elect to go e5. I think that's a way to play. Like e5, and if knight g4, you can take here. This is pleasant for white. I'm going to turn on the engine to make sure, but yeah, after e takes d6, we're down a pawn, but we have more development. This pawn is isolated and weak. This knight is misplaced. So I actually like white in these positions. I think it's kind of easy for black to go wrong. Yeah, and I guess knight g4 is the main move. That is what I was wondering. I kind of thought this move might be okay. Yeah, it is. But kind of the same deal here. I think the knight is clumsy here, blocking the bishop, blocking the queen. In fact, oh, and we can play queen b3 here, computer says. And white's slightly better in this position. Yeah, very interesting. The knight can go here, and notice that if we take, it gets replaced. It's still defending and attacking. Cool line. I like that. That's interesting. But anyway, that is not what happened this game. He didn't play knight f6 quite as early. He went with the move e6, which I'm usually happy to see because my plan becomes queen e2, rook d1. So I can bust out my moves really quickly. That's what I did. Knight f6. I could probably play e5 here too. Like I have done it in blitz games if I'm in the mood. E5 here leads to, I think, a worse position, slightly worse for white, but that's according to the computer that plays perfect. So this is actually kind of tricky. Like if they take with the knight, we can then take, oh, this isn't what I thought actually. Hang on a second. No, this isn't what I thought at all. Sorry. I'm thinking of positions where the pawn's here. Wait, am I? I don't know. I'm confused. But that's not what I thought it was. Never mind. Good thing that didn't happen in the game, right? Okay, let's continue. Here, castles, knight f6, queen e2. Like I said, rook d1. Okay, so the rook is lined up with the queen now. And that makes e5 more palatable for white. So to stop that move, I think black should probably play e5 here. If they castle, they're probably in trouble already. I can go e5. This pawn is pinned, so it doesn't count as a defender. And black can play knight e8. I've had a game like this in the women's championship. It's actually on my channel. This can be tricky, but it's supposed to be a little better for white. Like, I would definitely take here. And then they could take with a bishop or a knight, I think. I mean, I would take with the knight. Wow, then bishop f4 wins, apparently. Okay, let's look at this real quick because I need to know this. Bishop f4 wins. Why? Well, we're attacking the pinned piece. Knight b5 is coming. If knight a5... It says take here. What about this move? I'm just curious. Well, then we can take here. It's attacking the queen, so the queen must take. We take back. We're up a piece. I have to admit, I'm pretty exhausted. This might not be my best analysis. So how do we win a piece? We took the knight. They take here. Oh, then we take an extra piece. But then they take. Oh, at the end we take the knight. Okay. So Zwish and Zugs win the day. That's interesting, though, that you can't take with the knight. It says you can take with the bishop. Probably because that stops bishop f4. But then we have knight b5. But now the queen can move out of the pin. Okay, interesting. Sorry if I'm digressing a little bit. I used to hate it when I was analyzing with people over the board and they would digress into these long variations. And I'm starting to do that. Maybe that's what happens when you get stronger. Let's hope so. Okay, but in the game, my opponent, instead of castles, that's the line we just showed with castles, he did play e5, and he did this the other games as well. So this is kind of like the main line of the Smith-Morra Gambit. And I mean, when I talked to International Master Kevin Blocker, I mean, he acts like you're going to get this every game. He's like, oh, if your opponent doesn't blunder into the tricks, like he just calls it all blunders, which I guess it is. You know, of course, he said you're going to be a pawn down and play for pressure against the backwards D pawn and for activity. So that's what my games against Jeffrey Davis are like. Now, yeah, so this is my prepared move. So last time I played h3 because I knew bishop e3 was right that game, but I didn't understand why at all. And I didn't want to learn in a rated game. So I played h3 to stop this move, because if you play bishop e3, you have to look out for this move, bishop g4. I mean, I think here, white's under pressure. I mean, black might take the knight and jump into the d4 square. That looks kind of annoying. Maybe it's okay, but I mean, I would want to play h3. And then if they come here, we really want to get rid of this pin. This pin is so annoying. I've had this pin before, probably in blitz games, and I didn't know what to do. Well, the correct move is g4. But if you play g4, you better be ready for sacrifices. And it turns out all of these are just fine. So like, if black does this, maintaining the pin and now opening the king up, I mean, the computer likes white, but you know, it's scary, but I've at least had a look at these lines. So I kind of know that the king comes to g2 usually and the rook to h1. And like, I kind of know enough that maybe I have some ideas. So in the previous game, I was afraid of that move bishop g4 and I played h3. This game though, I invited it. I was like, bring it on, because I know enough to get by maybe and have a game. But he played bishop to e6. I think this is the main line. And here, international master Mark Esserman offers a really interesting move here, and that's the move b4. And I played it. So this is why I love flashcards, because I have a flashcard of not only the move b4, but also I basically ask on the flashcard what happens for every single reasonable move black can make. So I had a really good idea here of what could happen. And that's really nice. Do I remember everything exactly? No, but I think if you have ideas, then you can calculate more confidently. You know what I mean? So like if he takes, we're going to take on e5. That's pretty clear. We're using the pin, and the knight was guarding. I'm sorry, the knight was guarding this square. So that's the point. But the other point is b5. We're going to displace the knight and then take on e5. So this is an annoying move. And if they take here, you just take. And if rook c8, you go queen b3. You just step out of the pin. This is fine. Also, you should know here that after bishop e6, a natural plan would be, well, okay, Esserman called this natural. I didn't even consider it until he mentioned it. But the idea of taking the bishop and creating a weak e-pawn and then attacking it like crazy, like let's say takes, queen c4, let's say black defends it with the queen, and then we have knight g5 attacking it again. So, but there, he said black has knight d8, defending the pawn, and white's attack fizzles. And sometimes if your attack or your plan fizzles out, then a lot of times your pieces are misplaced or they get pushed back and you lose a lot of time and get a bad position. So even though that plan looks really interesting, it doesn't work. But it's something to always keep in mind, because, well, I kind of do that during the game. So b4, he did find the best move, a6, stopping b4. And now I was out of book. I didn't really know further, but so wow, we've analyzed this long and I've been in book the whole time. Sorry about that. Now I always thought a4 is really interesting here, forcing the issue. Like a4 I'm going to play b5, like it or not. I think that's interesting. And I think that's what I played. I notice now the computer likes h3, but I'm going to have to consult the book, Esserman's book on this one, because I don't really want to play h3, but maybe it makes more sense here. a4 though forces the issue, and I feel like puts a little pressure on black, because I'm going to play b5, so what are you going to do? So he played queen to b8. And here, I think I could play b5. Can I? And I could consider other moves too. Knight g5 is something to consider. Knight d5 you always have to consider. I guess h3. I mean, now though, I want to play h3 not to kick a bishop or keep a bishop out, but just to stop for back rank issues later. Yeah, but here I remembered that plan that fails, that bishop takes e6 plan followed by queen c4, knight g5, just really attacking this e6 point. And the computer likes my move, bishop takes e6. Now that the queen moved away, he can't play queen d7 defending that. So that was the idea there. So yeah, I really do think it pays to like study books and plans and ideas. I mean, it just pays to study chess, because I had never thought about this plan before I read it. But then I put it in a flashcard, so I've seen it like, I review my flashcards once a week on Sundays. So I've seen it like 5 or 6 times already. So pretty easy for me to find during a game. So I do feel that this is concrete proof that that makes me a better player, to find this move. I'm not saying it's winning, but I think it's correct. The computer agrees. Okay, so he takes, and I should probably attack it. Now the computer wants knight g5 right away. I went queen c4, which it doesn't like. That's interesting. Okay. If knight g5... I mean, wow, I was scared because knight g5, h6, whoa. Knight g5, h6. And when the knight takes here, he doesn't have a lot of retreating squares. Like, I'm always wary when a knight is located behind an enemy pawn, because the pawn takes away 2 of the key escape squares for the knight. Notice this one's also gone. And this one seems risky as ever. Well, it would be gone if they played h6. So I'm not playing knight g5. I'm sorry. It just looks wrong. Let's see what would happen here. I mean, what's the point of this? Can't they defend it? I guess knight e8 is just too awkward. Now we exploit other ways. Yeah, like this. Hey, I'm going to eliminate your knight. Okay. I didn't see that. Okay, but I wanted to play queen c4. Now, I don't know why this move is not good, though. It attacks the pawn, and it doesn't look so easy to defend. I mean, he could play queen c8, and that's what the computer wants, but a move like that is really hard for a human to play, because he just moved his queen here. Like, does he really want to do this and admit that his queen's misplaced? I mean, I think he wanted to do that. So, oh, if he did that, he drops the knight. Well, now he drops the knight because my queen's here. Okay. So king h8. And I feel like that is a concession for sure. He's saying, okay, you got me. Take my pawn, and I'm going to try to untangle and get counterplay. So I respect that move, actually. I know it's not correct, but I took it. Queen to e8. Was not expecting that move. Not sure what I was expecting here. Oh, I was expecting rook to e8. Maybe he didn't like that move because the rook is always threatening to take the knight on f3. And even though that's an exchange sacrifice, it has 2 nice points. It opens up the king, and the knight can maybe come into d4 at the right moment. So, well, maybe it's easier to say the rook's on a semi-open file. Okay, let's just say that. Because if he goes here, maybe I just retreat out, like queen b3, and okay, your rook's misplaced. So, wow, computer likes queen e8. I didn't expect that. I want to turn the engine back off, though. When you're analyzing, it's always best to come up with a conclusion first and only then check with the engine. That's how we learn. So, what to do here? I won my pawn back, and I feel like I have a better position. But, of course, it's not winning, and we have to play chess and figure out how we want to proceed. So here, I came up with the move knight to d5. Now, I like this move a lot. I want to see what the computer says about it. Knight d5 threatens this. So it has an immediate threat. Maybe I'll take here. It defends the pawn that he could take. I thought it was a cool move. And if he takes here, I can retreat my queen onto a better square. Or so I thought. Or maybe even the rook. Who knows? Computer says queen b3 is best. Huh. Yeah, I honestly didn't know the queen belongs there, but it kind of makes sense. Look how nice this diagonal is. And in some other lines, the queen comes to b3, so I think I'm learning that. Maybe the queen does belong there. Huh, okay. But I jumped the knight in. It's still an okay move. Now, I thought he has to take, and that is true. And then I took with the queen. I mean, should I take with the queen is a good question. I could take with a pawn, but I felt like my queen is not as good. I'll be honest with you. I saw this line and I thought this might be good. I win a pawn. Well, I trade pawns and I attack the knight. And if here, I was thinking about taking, of course it's defended now, but I was thinking about maybe this. But let's continue with the game. All of this maybe doesn't work out in the end. Rook b8, of course. Now, I was planning rook a, or queen a7 here, but I actually realized that maybe queen a7 is a terrible blunder. Of course, computer likes it. I thought if here, he could play like bishop anywhere, threatening rook f7, and my queen's trapped. So let's see if that's true. Bishop anywhere. Let's just go here. Do I have to move my queen? It says... Yeah, it does say queen c7 here. Okay, I was looking at moves like this, like threatening to take my bishop. Oh, that's hanging though. Okay, but... Oh, rook f7 isn't possible. Okay, I missed that. Okay, what about this? Let's just look at this. Like, if I take the bishop, am I losing? Rook f7. No, I block it. Okay, I feel like a dum-dum. I did not see that in my calculation at all. I mean, because if you look, if the rook doesn't block, my queen has no squares at all. These are all taken. Everything's taken. It's gone. It's just over. So, blocking though. Interesting. And you know, it applies another rook, or it applies more pressure on the 7th. So, yeah, that's very nice. Definitely missed that. All right. But in the game, I didn't go queen a7. I went queen c7, just ensuring I had an escape. And he moved the rook again. Yeah, and here I thought either queen b6 or queen a5. Queen b6, I thought maybe he would take on a4. So let's see if that's true. Yeah. It says it's even now. So I found the right move with queen a5. So I'm happy to see that. Wow, and yeah, rook c2. I didn't see this move coming at all. But it is the best move. Wow. It attacks my dark square bishop. Threatens to come into d4. Blocks my rook. The game does start to get complicated around here. Yeah, like here, I definitely thought about bishop b6, which the computer likes. Let's see, what was I afraid of here? I guess if here I could trade rooks. Oh, it wants to take first. Oh, because the bishop's on it. I did not want to take with a rook and then get mated. That would be unfortunate. So, but in the game, I felt, well, time to grab material. So I took this pawn. The computer approves. But now, I think you have to understand that when you go pawn hunting like this, in a better position, I feel like the nature of the position almost always changes because you're wasting a tempo. Like, if this pawn wasn't here, do I want my queen on the a6 square? Well, I really doubt it. I really doubt I would go queen a5 to a6. So we're essentially wasting a turn. And that can worsen your position. So when that happens, black, your opponent can get attacking chances or improve their position with their turn, but you only grab the pawn. So, but hey, this is a passed pawn now. So I felt this is worth it, and the computer agrees. Queen to g6. Yeah, it was at this moment that I was definitely scared and thought, uh-oh, did I screw up? My opponent has a few different threats here. First of all, they're threatening rook takes knight, which I had my eye on the whole game, but now the queen pinned my pawn. I don't have this move, which would have been nice, because the bishop would take it. And he's also threatening to take the bishop and maybe take here. So, interesting. Also, though, it should be noted that the queen is no longer defending this rook. So this rook's defended once, but attacked once by the queen and the rook. So the knight is pinned. So I could attack the pinned piece, and I was definitely considering knight to e1 here. Knight e1 would be such a nice move to play. It looks ridiculous. It attacks the pinned piece. It defends against this. It stops rook takes f3. It does so many nice things. And if the knight were to take, well, that's why I wanted it to defend mate, because the knight would threaten mate. I could probably take here. I mean, this is definitely an idea. But I thought here, he could just ignore everything and go queen takes. And then queen takes pawn, and it defends the knight. And I think I'll have trouble applying more pressure here. I mean, computer still likes this, but yeah, it says I could take. Huh. All right, let's look at this for a second. It says I could take there. Wow. I thought for sure rook takes is a move. But now the computer says a5 is good. So we're playing for the passed pawn, apparently. I don't know. This is very, well, it's interesting to me. I normally wouldn't play that way. That's something that might warrant further study. So instead, I played the move queen e2. So wow, the computer feels this is a mistake, but it's definitely a safer way to play. Let's just call it safe. I'm going queen to e2. I'm saying I'm up a pawn. And yes, you probably have compensation a little bit. But if I wait you out, I'll be up a pawn. So it's kind of funny because I played a gambit. But then I won my pawn back, won another pawn. And now it's like he's playing the gambit. But you have to be ready to switch mindsets like that, I think, in chess. And just play the best moves. So he did take the bishop here. Note that I really have to take with the queen to defend the e4 pawn. But my queen is continuing to defend the knight, which is actually hanging otherwise. So, like, you know, you just have to be aware of that, because if here, then this wins. So you have to always be mindful. Okay, so he went after my pawn. I'm going to probably fly through this part of the game because there's a lot more moves. Yeah. Okay, rook c7. You know what? I might actually make a separate video. Maybe that's the way to do this. So I'll find a stopping point and then I'll make a separate video to finish off the game. So he attacked my pawn and now I have a decision. I mean, I could go here. I think rook a1 is reasonable. Or I could play active. And usually, I find that usually the more active choice is correct. So I went here. This does unconnect my rooks though. So I'm attacking the bishop. Bishop to d8. I expected that move. And I like how it separates the rooks. So here I went rook c6. This pins the pawn and attacks it. He went rook f6. And I thought this position must be good for me. I did calculate this ahead of time. And knight to h4 I thought was interesting, but I did kind of forget that all my pieces are hanging. I shouldn't play this move, I don't think. It's just too loose. This is like a beginner move probably. Because I mean, if I was black, I would just be like, okay, how do I fork some undefended pieces? And that's what he did. He went queen h5, that attacks the knight and the rook. So that means I have to go knight f3 again. But at least I undid the pin. So he won the pawn. But here, I had a couple interesting moves here. I have rook c8 pinning the bishop. I have queen b3 threatening to attack the rook and maybe come into the position. Just improve the queen like that. The queen also defends the rook from here. Pretty interesting. I went with this move. Computer likes queen b3 way better. Rook to c8. And here, I thought he should play rook f8 or queen e8. And he's probably going to have to play both of them. He did play queen to e8. And then here I found the move knight takes e5. So I liked this move a lot because I don't think he can take it. Like if he takes with the queen, then this is checkmate. That's pretty easy. So he can't do that. And if he takes with a pawn, I thought I would go ahead and, I think I have to take with this rook, actually. And lucky for me, if he takes, it'll come with check. Because if not, I'm going to get back ranked. So yeah, this move. Computer likes queen b3 better. Okay. I thought this was a good move. All right. Knight takes e5. h6. Yeah, and here I also have some options. I have knight c6. Now, I was seeing crazy stuff though, because like if knight c6, rook takes e4. what am I doing there, right? It looks complicated. Let's look at this for a second. So here, I wonder if I could just move the queen and attack the bishop. Oh, I probably can. I was even thinking about queen b3 here, or queen b6, because it looks interesting, doesn't it? But I'm getting back ranked, so this doesn't work. I guess I have to stop the back rank. Queen c3. But now this is still a problem. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, there's actually no way to defend the bishop again. Wow. I didn't see queen c3. Did not see it. I just saw rook takes e4 and I was like, ooh, warning, warning. You know. So I didn't play knight to c6. I played f3, the safe move. But I reasoned that I'm better here, and I thought he still can't take the knight. I mean, if he takes the knight, I think he did in the game. No, he took with the queen. If he takes with the pawn, I can still take here. This looks really good. That's winning. If he goes here, I can probably escape now. The queen is pinned, so... yeah, now I'm gonna win. So I do get out. I did see that. But he did take with the queen, which is what I expected. I thought that was best. So now I should take the bishop. So I did that. Okay, king h7. And this position's interesting. I'm up a pawn, and I really like my structure too. But on the other hand, my rooks are disconnected. And I don't think I'm going to win that d-pawn. So I need to consolidate. Also, my back rank is still weak. I think I have to play h3. So I went queen b3. Computer doesn't like it. Oh, due to my opponent's response, rook to a1. Yeah, rook to a1 was not something I saw, but I should have. Because the queen is defending a1. My rook is now pinned. My queen is tied down to b3. Yeah, and it was hard to know what to do here. And I went h3. Wow. Wow, h3 is a blunder. I never dreamed that. I mean, I thought it might be a blunder, but I didn't see how. So if you want to pause your video and find the winning move for black, go ahead and do so now. Yeah, this looks a little more obvious now that the computer's pointing it out. Queen d4 check. I cannot take it. My rook is pinned. So king h2. And then it says rook takes d1. I can't take. I just lost material. So queen to d4 check is a fork. Utilizes the pin and it attacks the rook. That's... wow. My opponent's going to be kicking himself on that one. But I didn't see it either. h3 is a big blunder. Wow. Yeah, that's especially disappointing because I should be seeing all checks and captures. That is for sure. So I'm a little disappointed with that one, but okay, he took the rook. So that solved that problem. I took with the queen. I was definitely nervous here because my rook and queen are disconnected. He checked me. Queen there. Yeah, and queen d5, a hard decision, but I think I should trade queens. I'm a pawn up. And if he doesn't trade queens, I'm going to check here. And I think maybe he should take. So he did take. And I took with the pawn and king g6. Okay, and now we're entering an endgame. So we are 38 moves into this game, and I have news for you. The game goes 98 moves. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this video and say to be continued. I'll do another one and it will be up soon. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a minute. Bye.